Hi. So welcome. My name is Kara McKinley. I am a knitter and other crafter, and I blog at the knitmckinley.com. I have long wanted to add videos to my blog. I think it's just a better way to show what I'm knitting and what I'm working on. And I've been hesitant just because lack of technology. So we are shooting this on my cell phone. I've been waiting for the weather here in Rhode Island to clear up. I have given up on waiting on the weather here in Rhode Island to clear up. I'm also bumping up against a deadline. I have a stack of seasonally inappropriate fall and winter hats here that I actually knit for the 21 in 2021 challenge that was part of Hat Not Hate. So those hats are actually due August 1st. Today I'm filming this, it's Sunday, July 11th, and I need to get those in the mail to ship off. And so between just, the weather and having wanted to do this, I figure I will go for it. It's also timely because if you're knitting any last minute hats, all of the hat patterns, except for just a couple, are free and available on my blog. I'm actually kind of interested if, I put this up on YouTube and anybody does see it, I'd be super interested in knowing what you think of two of the patterns that I haven't actually written up yet. So let's start with some patterns that are available. I have the camera's up here and that stack of hats is almost equally sized to the right of it. So we're gonna try this out and see if I can not knock anything down while we do this. So let's start with Lincoln Woods, which is a hat pattern that I most recently published on the blog. We're actually a little sideways. So we're also gonna fix this while I try not to knock it down with my hats. So Lincoln Park is a super bulky hat pattern. It is only one size. I have it sized for it to fit an average adult, which Hat Not Hate asks for hats to be between 16 and 20 inches and unstretched. This is a 19-inch hat, so I assume that it fits the bill. I did 3 of these because, well, I like the yarn and they're super fast, and pom-poms. So I have a light blue, I have a slate blue, and I have a navy blue. So you can see these are fairly simple. These are a really quick knit. You do like a 1x1 rib, and then you switch to stockinette stitch, and you alternate plain rounds with rounds, alternating your main color with your contrasting color. So super simple, super easy. Also, I love pom-poms on hats, so the world needs more pom-poms. Next up, this pattern I actually published January 1st of this year. I was very happy to turn the calendar over from 2020 to 2021. So this is Beacon. Beacon is actually a hat and a cowl pattern. It is also super bulky. I'm starting with my super bulky hats. Here it is in a more solid blue. You can see it's just staggered cables. Let me spread those out a little bit so you can see they're 2x1 left cables. So super simple, super easy. I topped one with a pom-pom, one without, because I thought that was a little more unisex. So I thought that worked. I also have the super simple, super bulky hat, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a 1x1 rib and then stockinette stitch up to very simple crown shaping. So I have one in a solid slate blue, and then I have one in what's called storm front, and the light is definitely just slightly off, but I think that if I hold it up, the camera is mostly getting the right color. I ended up doing that in a smaller size as well. I'll have the mods up on my blog that I did to make the smaller size, and I'll link to that in the description box below. But this is that same super bulky, super simple hat pattern, just done with 42 stitches instead of the 48 that you cast on. I also did Beacon in a chunky instead of a super bulky weight yarn. This is Lion Brand's Hue and Me. This is the first time I've used it, and I actually think I like that a lot. So if you look, it's the same hat pattern that I just shown you. It's a really pretty yarn. It's an 80% acrylic, a 20% wool. I have a couple more skeins of it because I really like the colors that this came in. This one is going to Hat Not Hate because this is my specifically knit for donation hat. But this is a good yarn. I'm excited about that. The last one that I have in a super bulky is this. This is just a 1x1 all over rib. And you'll note that this pattern is, pom-pom. This pom-pom is bigger than the ones I was just showing. I did not know that they made a jumbo pom-pom maker until I was in Joann's a couple weeks ago, and I spotted it, and I was like, okay, well, I have to have the jumbo pom-pom maker. So this is the jumbo size. Let me grab, pardon my lean. And then this is the size that I had. That was the largest of the couple of pom-pom makers I had. This is like twice the size. I mean, I know there's like, it looks like funny perspective is going on, but it is incredibly large. It is perfect. All right. So now I have a bunch of worsted weight hats. Now this is a hat. I also did this in a pumpkin colored wool. That I did it in, I think, Patton's wool. This is the Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca. You can actually see, especially over here, where it is a little bit sheddy and a little bit furry. I like the Touch of Alpaca yarn for the colors that they offer it in, but what I don't love is that it is sheddy. And I say this not to knock Lion Brand yarns, because pretty much everything I'm showing you is a Lion Brand yarn. I use them a lot. I like them a lot, especially for community and charity knitting products. But their alpaca is a little bit of a lesser quality, which is why you're going to get some shedding with it. And actually, I think that's one of the things that drives knitters away from picking alpaca yarns, is they think that, oh, if it's an alpaca, it's inherently going to be high shedding. It's just going to be all over me. Alpaca yarns don't have to be high shedding. They really don't. They can be, but you can find them, especially if you find a very local maker who is putting together alpaca. I'm so fortunate. I'm in Rhode Island, and between Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine, there's a couple of really great alpaca farms up here. I actually have another skein I can show in another podcast to show how this does not have to be a sheddy fiber. Now, the other thing with this hat is this is a hat pattern that I've knit now twice in the blue, and this is going to go off for Hat Not Hate. And then I also did it in a pumpkin spice color with a longer brim that folds over. I think I like this cable pattern a lot. I think the hard part is it's a little bit less distinct than most of my other patterns, so I've got it written up. I've just hesitated on, putting it out there. So, this is my first blog podcast. I bet that approximately 8 people will see this. But if any of the 8 of you have any opinions on this cable pattern, and if it's something you think you'd be interested in knitting, I would love the feedback on it. I think it's gorgeous. I don't know. Because I'll show you in a moment. This is the Gingerbread stitch pattern in the Vogue knitting books. It's funny, I just got their new stitch dictionary that came out, and it has a lot of the same patterns that were across. They did like a 3 or 4 volume stitch dictionary like a decade ago. I like the new version, but this was gingerbread in that original stitch dictionary, and it's still gingerbread in the new stitch dictionary. Stitch dictionary is not something I'm ever going to try to say 3 times fast, but I like the pattern. I did it in 2 slightly different color blues, both Lion Brand. These are both, this is a Woolies worsted, and this is one of their 100% acrylic worsted weight yarns. I think it's their anti-pilling one. So I like the pattern. I also like what I was doing with the crown shaping. Let's see if I can show you, because I like twisting. I don't like doing just pure slanted decreases up a cabled crown. That's not showing particularly well. Let me try showing it in the Woolies version. Yeah, so you can see it comes up from the rib together. Then I also decrease the cables. So I like it when the crowns come together, especially when working cables, which the next pattern does. This is Road Trip. This was one of the first patterns I published. And the reason I have a lot of free patterns is because I think that community knitting is great. There's a lot of projects out there that ask for hats, and there aren't a lot of really fun, creative hat patterns, I think, where the designers are like, hello, yes, this is specifically intended for you to go and knit for a charity project. So this is the Road Trip hat. This was originally a design I did that has a fuzzy on it for the 500 Hats Project, which is done by a local yarn store in Baltimore, Maryland called Lovely Yarns. Sue Caldwell was the owner at the time. It still exists under new ownership. It's a great, great yarn store if you're ever in Baltimore. It's in Hamden. So Road Trip was originally hat number 5 because it was the 5th hat pattern I had done. And just like with that other hat with the gingerbread stitch pattern, you can see where I like to bring the cables up and I like to bring the twisted stitches up. I don't want to just have slanted cables across the top. I want, you know, the crown of the hat to feel as deliberate as the rest of the hat pattern. So I actually did 3 of those for my 21 and 2021. I have, this is 100% acrylic. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love. This is Lion Brand Woolies. It's actually the same color as the gingerbread I just showed you. And then this is another one of their 100% acrylics. I think that this one was their premium. Like they have a bunch of them and they're called like anti-paling and premium. And I can never keep them straight. I never remember to keep the ball bands when I'm doing this kind of project. And then the last pattern I did 4 of these. So I have a little stack here. These are called Anchored. Anchored is a 1x1 all over ribbed. And then you use center double decreases to bring the crown up almost invisibly to the top. So you don't have big slants in your decreases. It just sort of subtly comes together into a crown. Now these have deeply folded brims. I call for just about a 3-inch folded brim because you can either unfold it and wear it as a slouchy hat, or you can fold it over and wear it as a fitted cap. So I did 2 of those in the navy blue, which is the Lion Brand Pound of Love, and then 2 of them in 2 different shades of blue in that anti-pilling Lion Brand yarn. So these are great, and there is a thread. There's always thread over here. In addition to knitting, I do a lot of sewing and embroidery and other crafting. So there's a lot of thread around, which just means I always keep a lint roller handy because, you know, you need to keep a lint roller handy. So with these 4, that is my total 21 and 2021 for Lion Brand. I had so much fun making these different hats. What I'll do is I'll put in the description box below this video a link to my blog, which is the knitmckinley.com. And I'll have a post there. I already did a post with some of these patterns. I'll do a second post with the rest of the hats that I've done and where to find the patterns for them. Again, because they're all free, I specifically make them available for community and charity knitting. But of course, if you make it for yourself, if you make it for your family as gifts to sell, you know, the patterns are just out there and they're meant to be enjoyed. I do also have paid patterns on the site, but this is part of my collection of what I make available for community and charity knitting. So really exciting. I am going to go get these in a box and then I'm going to ship them off to Lion Brand. Or I'm sorry, not Lion Brand. It's Hat Not Hate. It's like, technically it's its own nonprofit 501c3. So I shouldn't say Lion Brand's program. And I'm really excited. So they'll have them by August 1st. And I know that they have over 32,000 hats by now. It's really exciting. So if you are seeing this, consider making a hat and joining in. It's a lot of fun to make these hats. And contribute to something great. So with that, thanks so much.